mechila. Okay. Now, obviously, we know every time we get to the Sefer Shemot, as we talked about last week's parasha, I'm going to get into this week's parasha, Beshalach. We know that we talk about the exodus of Egypt, the coming out of Egypt. Now, an interesting point that we see that our sages tell us is that if you look at the Makot, every single one of the Makot was made to instill another level of emunah, of faith, within the Jewish nation. For example, let's go through them. We have Dam, right? Who remembers? Come on, Pesach, you guys are listening? Dam, Tzfardea, Kinim, Arov, Dever, Shchin, Barad, so on and so forth. Yeah? Every single one of them has something that instilled in us. For example, Dam, Hashem turned the water into blood. What did it instill in us? Hashem was telling the Jewish nation, I'm in charge of the water. I have the ability to do whatever I want with the water. Then comes Tzfardea, frogs. Hashem says, I'm in control of the animals that are inside of the water. Then comes, Kinim. Hashem says, I'm in charge of the insects. Then comes Arov. Hashem says, I'm in charge of the animals. Then comes Dever. I'm in charge of their lives. Shchin. I'm in charge of your body. Barad. I'm in charge of the elements. Arbe. I'm in charge of the crop. I'm in charge of your prosperity, your life, your livelihood. I'm in charge of it. Then comes Machat Choshech, darkness, which Hashem shows them, now you know that my powers are above nature. And the last thing, Makat Bechorot, which is the plague of the firstborns. That one probably hit home the hardest. Why? Because only Hashem has the ability to differentiate between Zera leZera, child to child. You know, the first warning Paro got was, if you don't let the Jewish people go, I will kill your firstborn. And when Moshe told them, if you don't let them go, I'm going to kill your firstborn, guess what? They said, what's the big deal? How many firstborns do they have in the family? We have 5 kids. Then maybe we'll lose one. Now, what they didn't know, this is what the Midrash relates. What they didn't know, the women in Egypt weren't faithful. So every household had 3, 4 firstborns. Now comes Makat Bechorot, comes also now this special plague of the firstborn, and every house has 3 kids. First thing first, the husband is mourning, and then he's saying to himself, wait a minute, something is a little fishy over here. Wait a minute, we're supposed to have 1 Bechor, am I not wrong? We have 1 firstborn. No, we have 3 kids who passed away over here. There's something fishy is going on over here. Why did I'm thinking about it now. This one always looked like the mailman to me. This one always looked like the water boy. They didn't even know. And every other plague, we'll see, that Paro calls Moshe and Aaron. Go get Moshe and Aaron. However, the last one, Paro himself goes out to Moshe and Aaron. Why? The Midrash tells us something we didn't know before. You know who was a Bechor? You know who was the firstborn? Also Paro. And throughout the night, they didn't die in one shot. They died sporadically. He was terrified that he was going to die. He goes running to Moshe, please, just leave now. Just stop this. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. But you want to know what made it so crazy? The Midrash tells us that first things first, Hashem knew how to differentiate which one was the firstborn, which one wasn't, that no human being in the world can do that. Second thing the Midrash tells us that if a person went on vacation, he left Egypt for some reason, he went to Iraq, not that wherever he went, wherever he was, if he was Egyptian, his firstborn also died. To show the Jewish people, this is the top level. This is like the last level of emunah. But before we get to this level, Hashem says, this week's parasha, it says chamushim. What is chamushim? Rashi gives us 2 interpretations. One of them, he says, that only 1/5 of the Jewish people who lived in Egypt came out. That means 80% of them didn't come out. Now everyone asks, what do you mean 80% of Jews didn't come out? How could it be they didn't come out? And I'll tell you why. Many of the Jewish people didn't want to leave. You tell me, what do you mean? They were suffering, they were slaves. First of all, not every Jew was a slave. Some of them were taskmasters. Some of them had positions in power and didn't want to leave. And the last year, they were hanging out, chilling. Dam, another beautiful point we see. When Moshe Rabbeinu comes down, the workload gets harder. They come to Moshe and say, what did you come here for? You only made it difficult for us. The first Makkah, the first plague, Dam. Dam, only the Jewish people had fresh water. So the Egyptians wanted to drink, they had to buy. From the first plague, the Jewish people became very rich. So the first time they said, wait a minute, what's going on over here? Hashem, I don't understand. Hashem, everything looks a little bit fuzzy right now. Everything looks a little bit wrong. You came, you said you're going to take me out. Everything's supposed to be good and dandy. And then all of a sudden now, everything gets harder. And then boom, the first plague. Here's some money. Yalla, don't worry, got you. And now it's a little bit of money. And guess what? There's 4 levels of Geulot. 4 levels of redemption that Hashem saved them in, and we see them on Pesach. The Yerushalmi says it's Keneged Arba Kosot. The 4 cups we drink on Pesach, every one of them resembles a different type of redemption Hashem gave us. And the Pasuk says, he tells Moshe very clearly, Ve'otzeti, ve'etzalti, ve'ga'alti, ve'lakachti. Very simple. I took out, I saved, I redeemed, and I took. What does it mean? Ve'otzeti otchem, I took you out from the suffering of the Egyptians. Ga'alti otchem, I redeemed you from hard work. I took you out, I saved you from hard work. Ga'alti otchem, I took you out of Egypt. Ve'lakachti otchem, and I took you as a nation. Matan Torah. 4 different levels of redemption. Every single level was another level of emunah. For the first level, you needed 20%. For the second level, 40, 60, 80, so on and so forth. And obviously the 5th and final level is Eveti, which is Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, which almost nobody merited to. That generation that came out of Egypt, the very few of them actually got to go into Eretz Yisrael. It was only the next generation who went there. Why? Because there's levels along the way. But Hashem expects from a person to grow those levels. If Chas v'Shalom, a person finds himself at 20, then now it's time to move to 40. There's a reason why Hashem gave them the plagues 10 at a time, 10, each one at a time. So every one of them had time to settle into the heart of the person. Dam, so you understand that I'm in charge of the water. Tzvardes, you understand, so on and so forth. And He gave it time to cook, to boil. And Hashem says, you want to come out? You want to come out? I'm taking you out. I'm taking you to the best place. And a lot of people, 80% of them said, no, we don't want to go. We don't want to go. Why don't you want to go? Why don't you want to go? Oh, I'll tell you. Imagine not tomorrow, you get a phone call. What's up, Tzaddik? It's Mashiach. Yalla, let's go to Eretz Yisrael. Leave the business, leave the car, leave the house. Whoa, Mashiach. Relax. Wait a minute, I got a deal next week in the pipeline. I'm waiting for it to close. I could make 70 grand. Right? Maybe next week come Mashiach. It reminds me of the parable. One guy in Eretz Yisrael happened to be was good friends with Mashiach, the Redeemer, the final Redeemer. Okay? He says to himself, he works hard, contractor, hard, heavy lifting, picking up, doing hard work. He says to himself, you know what, Pinukim? It's time, me and my wife are going on vacation, but no longer I'm flying Spirit, Chas v'Shalom. I'm flying JetBlue, Delta, they're first class. No more economy, no more in the back, no more by the bathroom. Now we're going to fly nice, okay? Books himself a nice flight, top of the line, first class. Tells his wife, where do you want to go? I don't know, what do you think, in Greece, this, that? No. We're going to Bora Bora. Everyone who doesn't know, Bora Bora is a $10,000 trip minimum, $20,000 minimum. We have to go. Books the trip, books the place with a nice deck on the water, Kazel, Blue Lagoon water around. Then he's gets a phone call right after he finishes packing the bag. What's up, Tzaddik? It's Mashiach. I'm coming today. Whoa! Mashiach, no. I have a trip now. Maybe you want to come after. Maybe you want to come after. We spoke about the Gemara Masechet Shabbat that says the first question to ask a person when he gets up to the next world is Nasata v'natata be'emunah. Well, you're honest in your business dealings. One of the questions they asked him is Tzipita Geulah. Did you yearn for the redemption? What does it mean, the redemption? For us, very foreign. Anyone in this room, including me, can tell you, Mashiach, you hear the word Mashiach, you hear it your whole life, you heard it. But what is it? Life's pretty good. We have a car, we have a house, everything's good. But we don't realize life is not that very good. Because we live in a world that besides for little moments of light that Hashem allows us to have through connecting to Him, we live primarily in darkness. Why do I say that? We live in a world where Hashem doesn't show Himself to us. Sometimes I say, hey, I know, if Hashem wanted me to believe, one guy goes, if Hashem wanted me to believe in Him, let Him come down right now, split the sea of reeds, and I'll believe tomorrow. Why doesn't Hashem do that? Because that's not where we are today. That's not where we are today. Aside for the fact that Hashem takes away your free will by doing that, telling you, hey, clear. Aside for that, that's not where we are. I'll tell you the most beautiful thing. The Jewish people get out, and we're going to go deeper into the story. They pass the Yam Suf. And Moshe Rabbeinu starts singing to Hashem, and all the Jewish nation, all the men, as a Shir Moshe, and they start singing. And right after they finish singing, says Miriam, this prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took out the taf, the drum, and started singing a song to Hashem. Anyone who reads this, and it's a pasuk in the Torah, wait a minute. So you're telling me you didn't have enough time for the dough to rise, so I have to suffer every year with matzah because you didn't have enough time to, but somehow you had enough time to get a drum. Huh? A drum you had enough time to get. But a little bit of a lafa, just try to rise a little bit more. No, I'm not asking for a lot. I just don't want to eat that. You know what it is to eat on Pesach, shmura, this, that, lingering, masayad, 18 minutes, the whole 9 yards. At the end of the first night, if you live in America, you have 2 nights. Forget about it. You can't breathe already. You mix matzah with water, it's cement. You can fix the crack in your house. You tell me you didn't have a few minutes for the dough to rise, lo avanti. Few minutes, but somehow you have a drum. Somehow you have a drum with you. Chazal teach us, and Farshim explain right on the spot, Rashi brings it down. Of course, it's the Mechilta, I believe. That says that the woman knew, for all the years that they were in Egypt, they knew that Hashem was going to save them. When? We don't know, but He's going to save us. And therefore, they always carried around with them a finger drum, a drum. That one day when it's going to come, I'll sing to Hashem. And you know why it says with Moshe and the Jewish nation, Az Yashir Moshe, then they sang, Hashem explained, Az V'lo Kodem. Then they sang, but not earlier. Hashem gave you 4 different geulot. At this point, 3. He saved you from Egypt. He saved you from hard work. He took you out. Now, one time, the Jewish people say thank you. You know when the first time I said thank you was? After the splitting of the Sea of Reeds. The highest level of Yeshua, of redemption now, I'll tell you why later. And only now, I just Moshe, didn't say thank you. Well, you didn't say thank you earlier? You didn't say thank you earlier? Well, you're waiting for all the magical things to happen in your life. You're waiting for all the big things, for the sea to split, all the miraculous things. You can't say to Hashem, oh, thank you for taking me out of slavery. Oh, thank you, Hashem, for the 10 makot. Thank you, Hashem, for giving me money. Thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Az Yashir Moshe Ubnei Yisrael. Only then. Why only then? What's so difficult? Hashem, thank you. What's so difficult? Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you for everything you gave me. I don't need to wait for miraculous things. Thank you for today. Thank you for tomorrow. Thank you for yesterday. Thank you for every single day. I woke up this morning. I can breathe. I can talk. I can see. I can hear. Thank you. Who am I? Thank you every morning in the morning. You wake up in the morning. You say thank you. Me, thank you. I walk in. You say, but you don't really mean it. Not you guys. Everyone over here means it. But many people, unfortunately, they say. They don't really even. Some people don't even say. And the ones who do say moderni, they're not even moderni. They're not even really moderni. Stam milim. One time asked the rabbi, a doctor one time asked the rabbi, he said, what are you doing? What do you do for work? He said, I'm building a bridge. Building a bridge. You ever heard a rabbi say, I'm building a bridge? No, rabbi, you do construction? I didn't like the construction. So what kind of bridge are you building? From my mind to my heart. The doctor said, okay, how does that work? Explain to him. I'm building a bridge to take the thoughts in my mind and put them into my heart. Because the Zohar says, Rahmana li babaye. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants your heart. It's not enough just to have the words, just to say the words. It has to be in your heart. The real todah, you have to feel it. To wake up in the morning and say, thank you, Hashem, you have to feel it. It has to be a part of you. It has to be an intrinsic part of you. To understand, Hashem, thank you. Don't take anything for granted. We don't realize. But thank you, Hashem. Don't wait for the big things, miraculous things. Say thank you every single day. And then Hashem says, now I want to give you more. The kid who comes to his father and his father gives him a 10, thank you, Abba. 20, thank you, Abba. You know what? He wants to give him 100. And so on and so forth. That continues. The more you say thank you, the more Hashem wants to give you. And the less you say thank you, he says, look, he doesn't appreciate it. We all know the story of the guy. I always say it all the time. Of the millionaire in Manhattan. One day decides, you know what? I want to go climb the tallest building in Manhattan. Everybody knows the story, yeah? Everybody knows. He goes, he climbs up, he gets to the roof, he runs out, he's celebrating. Everything's going well. He's enjoying himself. Turns around, no way to get out. One way in, no way out. Now I'm in the roof by myself, 100 floors up in Manhattan now. No cell phone service, no one to call. So what do? Start screaming, help, help. Nobody listens. Help, help. Nobody hears. So what does he do? Goes into his wallet, says, look, I have a few dollars over here. I'll start throwing them down. Someone will pass by, look up, and oh, help, help, help. Throws the dollars. The guy walks by, picks it up, goes. Runs out of dollars. So what does he do? Okay, I throw the 5s. Throws the 5s. Guy passes up, picks it up, goes. 10s, 20, 50, 100. The guy's like putting it over here, quickly trying to, crip walk away so that nobody knows he has the 100 under this thing, and then later, look, But now one person decided to look up. Guy gets frustrated, turns around, gives a kick to the wall, breaks off a little tiny rock, throws it down on frustration. All of a sudden, ow, ow. He said, help, help, and I saved his life. Hashem, sometimes He throws you all the blessing. And you never look up and say thank you. In another one, no thank you. In a 5, no thank you. 10, no thank you. No thank you, no thank you, no thank you. Hashem says, you know what? Enough times no thank you. In a boom, take a little rock to that. Until you realize where everything comes from. Look up. Everything came from Hashem Yitbarach. You don't say thank you. Hajj Moshe. Says the Gemara Masechet Sotah, Beschut, in the merit of the righteous women in Egypt, because of them, only because of them, we were redeemed from Egypt. Because they kept this drum with them 24/7 and believed wholeheartedly that Hashem was going to redeem them, Hashem says, because of them, because there's someone in the world who believes wholeheartedly that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And what's the lesson for us? If you believe wholeheartedly that Hashem will do something in your life and you yearn for it and you wait for it, it's coming. It's coming. Tzepita legeula, that you yearn for the redemption, doesn't necessarily only mean the final redemption. It means the redemption in your life. The redemption situations where you find yourself in a dark place, in a hard time. Did you believe wholeheartedly that Hashem is going to redeem you from here? Did you believe wholeheartedly that Hashem is going to take you out of here? Did you? Who's sitting over there waiting? I know the day is coming. And because of that, we were getting now. And the Farshim explain, and the same merit of the Nashim Tzadkaniot, of the woman, a righteous woman, that we were saved then, will be saved then. Now. Because only a person who has the ability to really truly believe in Hashem that He's going to come and He's going to do, and that's the one who's going to be able to get out. He's the one who's going to have to redeem it all. Why? Because there's someone out there in the world who truly believes that I'm coming. And therefore, I'll never let him down. A father, when he promises his son something, and this is basar v'dam, flesh and blood, I'm going to be at your recital. I promise you I'm going to be at your recital. If he's a good father, he'll turn the whole world upside down to make sure he's there at the recital. Sometimes he may be a little bit late. That doesn't make a difference. He'll turn the whole world upside down to make sure. This is basar v'dam. This is flesh and blood. Hashem Yitbarach. When you come to Him, Tamim tiyeh Hashem Elokecha, you come to Him like a child. Abba, I'm waiting for you. You're coming, right? You think Abba's going to tell you no? You think Abba's going to tell you no? Hashem will turn the whole world around to come to them. The whole world around to make sure that He's there for you. To make sure He's there. But who's the taluya on? Taluya on you. I'll give you a proof. We all know the story, the famous Midrash, that says that the Jewish nation got to the Sea of Reeds and they said the sea didn't want to split. Hello, khalas, I'm not splitting. Who jumps into the water? Everybody knows. Nachshon ben Aminadav. This righteous person jumps into the water, says the pasuk, V'yegiu mayim ad nafesh. You know what that means? The water got up to his neshama. What does it mean, neshama? Almost to the place where he lost it, almost where he died. And some say he even passed away in the water. And then Hashem opened up the sea. You understand? Up until a person really believes that Hashem is going to see. Someone jumps into the water. Now, the Midrash tells us who's behind them? Egypt. To the right of them, snakes and scorpions. You can't go that way. To the left of them, snakes and scorpions. You can't go that way. You only have one thing. What's that in front of you? What's that? The water. And what kind of water? It's roaring. Waves. Hawaii. Okay? Go now jump into the water. Don't tell me it was calm water guys doing doggy paddles over there. The water comes like Shon bin Aminadav, says, no, don't worry, I got this. Jumps into the water. Whoop! Starts walking. Now the water's climbing. Shema, everyone's sitting over there in the thing. Wait, what's going on over here? Huh? And then they saw him, and then boom, everyone came in. At that moment when Hashem said, there's someone in the world who believes in me, there's someone who knows wholeheartedly that I'm coming, guess what? Now it opens. Against all odds. Nature. What nature? Ain't no nature. One time a guy told me, you want me to believe in God? Explain to me the splitting of the Sea of Reeds without God. I told him, and if my grandma had a wheel, she'd be a bicycle. Ma kesher. Tell me how. So explain to me how God doesn't exist, and then I'll believe in God. Okay, explain to me how a sandwich is not a sandwich, and I'll eat it. לא הבנתי את הבן אדם. אוקיי, טוב, חזק וברוך, הבנתי אותך. You know, and I always think, and I always laugh to myself. Why? Paro, many of the Mefarshim bring down that the first 5 plagues, Paro had free will. After that, he didn't have free will. It's a big topic in the poskim, the Mefarshim, in the commentaries. But as a standard answer, the first 5 he had free will. After that, Hashem says no more. This is what the Midrash says. The Rambam brings this down also. After that, no more. Took it away from him. The first 5. Okay, what happened in the first 5? Dam, says the pasuk in the Torah. The Khartumim, the necromancers, The necromancers were able to recreate it. Tzfardea, the frogs, they were able to create it. Good? Came to Kinim, to fleas, and they weren't able to recreate it. And what did they say? Etzbe Elokim hi. It's the finger of God. Meaning, we can't do it. Black magic doesn't go this far. And a Paro now in front of him, fact, Etzbe Elokim hi, right? They said it word for word. His necromancers, his magicians said, this is the finger of God. Also, God exists. Okay. So now I should say, hey, God exists. Now you guys can go. Why do I need another 7 other makot? At this point, I already have the facts in front of me. It's clear God exists. Okay, let them go. Because people in the world aren't looking for truth. People in the world are looking for their truth. Same thing when a guy tells me, explain to me, all he's doing is making excuses. Latzdik daresha shelo, which basically means he wants to make himself right. So he finds all type of excuses. No, explain to me this. He comes up with all these cockamamie questions that are not really questions. And he tells himself that because I don't have an answer to this question, but by the way, I never looked for an answer for, that's why I'm not religious. That's why I don't go in religion. But the reality is deep down inside, he knows the truth. He knows that it's not the right way. But he chooses to allow himself to believe it because he's comfortable. I don't want to stop doing these things. But deep down inside, he knows what the truth is. He doesn't want truth. And I always tell the guys, you're never going to convince a person to be religious by talking to him and explaining to him. I had one guy, a friend of mine, without mentioning names, calls me and tells me, I have a friend. Guy is a self-claimed atheist. He told me if I can bring somebody who can prove him wrong, he'll become religious. And the first person that came to my mind, you. Okay. I don't really make my business, but you know what? Bring him after the shiur. Bring him after the shiur, not here, the other location. 4 hours we sat down, me and him. 4 hours. Okay, 4 hours of my life. Me, him, Sefer Torah, we go through every topic. Carbon dating. We go through dinosaurs. We go through this, that, everything you could possibly imagine. Guy leaves and says, shh, 4 hours. Guy tells me, I never heard these things, never this, never that. I see him a month later, same person, nothing changed. All of a sudden 2 minutes ago, never heard. Because it's not the sechir that's going to get you there. The logic, it's the lev. It's the lev, it's the heart. You want to know what keeps you with Hashem? What keeps you staying with Hashem? A klal b'Torah, a principle in the Torah. If you seek me, you will find me. How do you know? Avram Avinu. Avram goes out looking for Hashem. As a young boy, single digits. And Hashem says, you looking for me? You'll find me. If you look for Hashem in your life, you'll find Him. And when you'll find Him, you'll taste the sweetness of what Hashem is, how much He's there in your life, how much goodness He does for you, all the many things He does for you. Guess what? You're going to fall in love with Him. And guess what? You're going to want to do it on your own. You don't need anything else. You don't need any other proof. I love Hashem. But how do you get to a place where you love Hashem? When you start to understand that everything that happens in life is from what Hashem wants from you. And it says the Gemara in Pesachim, 2 different places in the Gemara, the kashe zivugo shel ben adam and parnasato shel ben adam, that 2 of these things, a person's zivug, the person he marries, and his parnasah, and how much money he's going to have, is hard for Hashem, like Kirat Yam Suf. Like the splitting of the sea reads. Wait a minute, God can do everything. Splitting of the sea is hard for Him? Not hard for Him at all. So why hard? Why hard? Why is it hard? Because it's contingent on you. Says the Baal Shem Tov, Da ma mimala mimcha. Know that what's above is from you. That Hashem interacts with you according to you. How do we know? Farshim explain. In the shir, sus verochavo rama bayam. The sus, the horse, and its rider were hurtled into the sea. Says the Midrash, what do you mean the horse and its rider were hurtled into the sea? The rider tried to jump off. You see the split? The rider said, okay, I'm going this way. Horse didn't let him. Go this way. Didn't let him. Tried to jump off. He couldn't. And who took him into the water? He didn't want to go. Who took him into the water? The horse. The horse says, I'm going into the water. And he's like, I don't want to be with you. Leave me alone. What are you doing with me? That's it. Over. Now he couldn't stuck at the horse. Imagine now. Let me go. He's glued. Someone put a crazy glue on it. He's stuck over there. Maya say, Mafakshim explain, that's how Hashem sometimes is like the olam. That you're the sus and Hashem is the rider. Hold that sometimes you go to some place, Hashem says, what are you doing? Where are you going? And you bring yourself to a place where God forbid, Toveh Bayam. How? In the way that you want to go, Hashem takes you. In the way that you want to go, Hashem takes you. He doesn't say, I'm going to force you to come to my way. The way you want to go, I'm going to take you. And God forbid, sometimes it's the wrong way. But what can I do? What can I do? But only when a person understands that for Hashem to give you, everything you want in the world, it's contingent on you. It's contingent on how much you believe Hashem can give it to you. It's contingent on how much you think Hashem is going to be the one to give it to you, to give it to you in your hands. That's what it's contingent on. Do you really truly believe? Do you not really believe? What is really to be really believe? We said a story in the past, but Mamash, the story is true. Guy comes to the rabbi, he says, Rabbi, I'm struggling financially. I need help. Rabbi tells him, Hashem hakol yachol. Hashem is everything he can. Go buy a lottery ticket. Believe you have the winning lottery ticket. And you'll win. Okay, Rabbi says, I'll go. Goes to Habibi's Deli. Let me get one lottery ticket. Goes, buys a lottery ticket. He goes home that night. I got the winning ticket. I got the winning ticket. Yeah. Comes the next morning. Rabbi, I got it. This is the winning. $100,000. Coming tomorrow. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. You see it? All of a sudden, another guy passes by. That lottery ticket? I had to go to the store. I'm a little busy today. I'll give you $10 for it. He says, $10? You crazy? It's the winning ticket. He goes, okay, $100. Come on, man. You playing jokes with me? Guy looks at him and says, you drive a hard bargain. $1,000. He looks down, looks at $1,000. He says, okay, takes $1,000. The rabbi says, are you serious? 2 minutes, I got the winning ticket. This is how much you believe? This is how much you believe? That you really have it? I have the winning ticket, I have the winning ticket? And then you sell it for $1,000? If you had $1,000 coming tomorrow, would you sell it for $1,000 today? Who would do such a thing? $100,000 coming tomorrow, $1,000 for today? No one would do it. What's the problem? You don't really believe. And I'll tell you another story. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Mebarditchev. Beautiful story that actually happened. Similar. One of his Talmidim came to him and told him, Rabbi, I'm struggling. What did he tell him? Go buy a lottery ticket. He goes to buy a lottery ticket. Back in their time, he didn't go to Habibi's Deli in the corner. He had to travel far away to get a lottery ticket. So he goes far away. Happened to be, was late into the night. And on the way back, he was very tired. He said, okay, I'm going to stay in the inn. Goes to sleep in the inn. Goes to sleep, bed and breakfast, sleeping. As he's sleeping, now one of the noblemen from the town comes to the same inn. Staying over there. Zakubah, very nice, good. Yeah? Goes to sleep that night, the nobleman. Go, not even Jewish. Okay? Goes to sleep. Has a dream. What's a dream? He has a dream. Okay, huh? Not good. Has a dream. What's a dream? There's a Jew in this inn who has the winning lottery ticket. Wakes up. Says, weird dream. Goes back to sleep. Again, another dream. There's a Jew in this inn that has a winning lottery ticket. He tells his misharei, tells his right-hand man, listen, do me a favor. Go walk around in the inn and see if there's a Jew over here. So the guy goes, knocking at the door, 3 o'clock in the morning. Jew comes out with the kippah, with the big Magen David come on the chest. He knows that he's Jewish. You're Jewish, boss grabs him, brings him to the room with the guy, sits him down. Now the nobleman is sitting over there, tells him, you have a lottery ticket? He said, what's your business? What do you want from me? What do you want from me? You have a lottery ticket, yes or no? I said, yeah, I have a lottery ticket. I'll trade you my lottery ticket for yours. Jew tells him, no way, I'm not trading my ticket for yours. What do you want from me? You woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. The guy takes out a gold sack of coins. He says, here, 10 gold coins. The guy says, no, I'm not trading you. 100 gold coins. I'm not trading you the ticket. 1,000 gold coins. Puts on the table. The guy looks at him and says, put 100,000 gold coins over here. I'm not trading you the ticket. What do you want from me? What do? They realize this Jew is Akshan, stubborn. So what do? Boom, hit him over the head, take the ticket, and run away. What do they leave there? The losing ticket and the bag of gold coins. Guy leaves over there, so what am I going to do? But I have 1,000 gold coins. Happened to be his daughter was getting married the next week. So Baruch Hashem, I have enough money to marry my daughter. Marries his daughter. A month later, they announce the winner. Who has the winning ticket? The Jew. The Jew has the winning ticket. Comes to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, I don't understand. You told me I had the I'm going to buy the winning ticket. This guy steal the ticket from me, and then I have the winning ticket. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak tells him, because you believed you had the winning ticket, no matter which ticket you would have had, you would have won. Doesn't matter which ticket you had. You believe it, you're going to win. If you believe wholeheartedly that something is coming your way, it's coming. Khalas. No talk about. It's coming. And we also learn a beautiful lesson for this week's Parashat, that Hashem will never put you in a test you cannot handle. 2 times we'll teach you this. First things first, the Jews leave Egypt. They have the short way and they have the long way. Short way, Rashi brings in the spot, is Derech Pilishtim, in the lands of the Philistines. The Philistines, in English they call them, yeah? Philistines, yeah? You got it? Philistines, okay? No, not those guys. Not those guys. Those guys didn't exist back then. Okay? They were the Philistines, okay? And the other way, Derech Yam Suf. Anyone who knows a little bit of geography, it doesn't take a year to get from Egypt to Eretz Israel. So what happened here? His Rashi on the spot, he knew that they would have saw war. They would have been frightened and ran back to Egypt. Mepharshim explained over here that if Hashem sees that there's a test you cannot handle, He'll never give you that test. Meaning to say, if Hashem doesn't know you can, if you're in a test right now, if Hashem thinks you cannot handle it, He will never give you that test. And therefore we see everyone in life finds himself in a test one way or another. And the ability to pass that test already exists inside of you. And I'll tell you one thing, one other beautiful thing. One other beautiful thing. Says the Mepharshim commentary explains, that Yosef got what from his father? Katonet, pasim. The striped garment. This caused hatred of the brothers, and ultimately led the brothers to sell Yosef to Egypt. Yeah? Mepharshim explained, pasim, don't read pasim, ela pasyam. Which basically means that because of this striped clothing, we were able to pass the Sea of Reeds. As Chazal teach, that the reason that the sea split was not only because Nachshon bin Aminadav jumped into the water, was also because the bones of Yosef were there. And when he saw the bones of Yosef, the person who went and overcame such a difficult test, 17 years old, the most beautiful woman in Egypt telling him, be with me, and he says no, and runs away, the sea opened. He says on the spot, that from there, that Hashem put Yosef into this test, only in order so that eventually he can save the Jewish nation. And therefore what? Every time Hashem puts you in the test, just know that not only you can pass the test, but this test is also ultimately going to make you get to a much higher place. It's going to take you to an elevated, higher level. Takes you to a higher level. That's what a person has to understand. That any time, and I want to also tell you a beautiful story that I heard, anytime you get a test, you have a desire to go do something, whatever it may be, anytime, if you overcome it, the reward will be that much greater. There was a story in the time of the Ben Ish Chai. In the times of the Ben Ish Chai used to wake up at Chatzot Halayla, at midnight. He would give a class until the morning, and they would pray nets at sunrise. One day, one of his Talmidim is walking on the way to go to the shiur, to the class, and he sees the house of the wealthiest woman in Egypt, in Baghdad at the time, the door's open. Now back then, there's no security cameras. Doors open, that means doors open. Come in, knock, knock. Okay? 12 o'clock at night. Guy says to himself, I have to see what this house looks like. I have to see. Richest woman in all of Baghdad. I got to see what the house looks like. What kind of Persian rug she has. What kind of china she has. He walks into the house. Starts walking around. Ultimately, he gets into a room, the safe room. He finds over there gold, silver, watches, riches. He tells himself, look, I'll do this one sin. I'll steal. One time, only one time. And I'll use the money to do mitzvot. I'll give all the money to kolelim, to yeshivot, to learn Torah, all the good. I'll give it to the shul. One sin. And then for the rest of my life I can do mitzvot. Packs a bag of gold, silver, watches, money. Walking on the way out, says to himself, you know what, I can't do it. Drops the bag. Torah says, Lo tignov, don't steal, I can't do it. Puts the bag, runs out. Goes to the shiur. They finish praying in the morning. Who walks in? This woman. Walks in now to go meet with the rabbi. She goes to the Ben Ish Chai. She goes into his office, they talk. The guy says to himself, yo, they caught me. It was a test, they got me. Ben Ish Chai comes out of the office, points to this guy and tells him, come here. He says, it's over for me now. They got me. He walks up to the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai tells him, look, this woman tells me last night a bunch of bandits came into her house. She was awake, but she was afraid for her life. She pretended she was sleeping. She heard them. They didn't take anything. For some reason, they made a bag and just left it there. She's afraid they were scoping the place and they're going to come back. Okay? So she asked me if I can give her some of the guys. She had a very big house. Put him in one wing of the house so she feels safer to be in the house. So I'm putting you in charge. You're going to go with these few people and you're going to sleep in this house every single night. The guy says, okay, whatever the rabbi says, but right, go, you're going to do it. He goes to the air. He sleeps. It passes a year, happened to be with an elderly woman, she passes away. In the will, she leaves all of her money to who? This guy. The guy goes to the Ben Ish Chai and says, Rabbi, I'm for sure the rabbi knows that night I was the one who broke in, I was the bandit who broke into the house. The rabbi tells him, honestly, I had no idea. What you talking about? He said, but you taught me an important lesson. He says, I thought that when a person overcomes a desire, the reward waits for him in Shamayim. You taught me today that when a person overcomes a desire for something, that Hashem will give him that same thing in a way that's allowed to him. When you want